So, Mark, did you see that video of horseshoes, check-in line, Caesars hotels added again, long lines? But even Fontainebleau got into the mix this week, a long line there. Why does Vegas not know how to do check-ins?
You would think after all this time they would have figured it out, and they just never have enough people. Even when you go to like an older place that had enough desks, they don't staff them the way they should. Especially, it's not like you don't know who's coming. It's not a walk-up restaurant. Like, you have reservations, you know it's going to be an influx of people. How do you not have enough people out there? And this is why the bar slash not bar slash bar that we messed up in New York was so confusing, because they took away a big check-in desk and moved it to 2 people. I'm surprised we haven't seen lines there yet.
One thing is clear with all these videos going viral on social media, they just don't care. It just keeps happening. So there you go. That's the Vegas experience.
If we could just get Chris Angel in here to make the lines disappear, I don't know, is that bad?
Perfect. So one of the bigger stories of last year, and a lot of people did it, was the Wynn status match to get platinum status. And that was really good for a lot of people using their spa credits, their birthday credits. Even people were able to parlay that into a cruise with Holland America Line. You had to do 2 non-consecutive stays to do that. But now Founderscard apparently will be adding Wynn Platinum as a benefit starting February 1st, only for elite members, meaning you have to pay above the regular membership. I am a member. I don't know that I would pay for this. The platinum status you get with Founderscard is not quite as good because you don't get the spa credit, the birthday credit, unless you do 2 non-consecutive stays of 2 nights each. You don't get the cruise unless you earn the status another way. So I guess this could be good for some people, and it's clear who they're targeting, sort of business owners and people who are going to come and spend a lot of money.
Yeah, I think if you gamble a lot at Wynn or you stay there often and you could find the status useful, maybe it makes sense. But for most, it probably won't be, because they keep so much of the stuff out. And I think they've grown over time. 10 years ago, you were getting everything, and slowly they've kind of taken away things from matches and stuff. But I just wonder, like, is this a telling sign that Caesars isn't coming back to Founderscard? We're waiting till February. Every year they have to re-up it. We've already talked about how Caesars is blocking pretty much everything else. Is this the last straw? I couldn't see them being happy having 2 competing casino brands, under the same umbrella.
Yeah, as of us recording this on January 30th, Founderscard is still only listing Caesars Diamond through January 31st, 25. So there's been no extension. So that's the big question. Will they keep Caesars Diamond for the regular members, or do you have to become an elite to get Wynn? I'm guessing Caesars Diamond is done, but we've done that before and it's always come back. So crossing my fingers.
Yeah, I think, was it last year or the year before where they actually delayed and didn't announce it until well into February or maybe even early March? It was, everybody was like, do we still have it? Do we not have it? And they were getting mad when people were reporting that they didn't have it, because I think they're still working on it. So it's hard to say, but everything else that Caesar's done makes it seem like they would want to get out from under this.
I know a lot of you out there love carpet updates, and we have one from Tuscany, thanks to Hungry Vegas,
just like your sweater,
their YouTube channel.
Sweatshirt.
Check. You're the one who asked me to wear it. I wasn't going to reference it until the end of the show. But look at this carpet. So there's a story here. Apparently they installed the flooring upside down or wrong. So they came over multiple days and they had to tear it out, reinstall it. Not quite sure how that all goes, but yeah, the new carpet looks very nice, and good to see Tuscany getting some love.
Yeah, I was confused. Like, the one picture is the one picture of it upside down, and then they flip, because it seems like you would be able to tell that was upside down. I just thought that was like maybe the pad or the prep or something. I couldn't imagine somebody putting that in and thinking that it was the way it was supposed to be. But, whatever the picture of it looking like carpet does look really nice.
Yeah, we'll put the text of the message we received, because I'm not quite sure if they were talking about the tile or what was going on. But yeah, like you said, in the end, the new carpet looks really nice. I like the design, and it's a little different than some of the other carpets, the new carpets we've seen around town.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a variety. It's still like the darker stuff that we've kind of gotten away with a bit. Like, I don't think we see as much black in the carpet the last few times, more like browns and maroonish and stuff. So it's kind of interesting to see them go to the black. I think it looks great, though.
So let's move on to some entertainment news. Ludacris is coming to the M Resort for a poolside concert. I love these. I went to one years ago at the South Point with Smash Mouth, and it's kind of cool, more intimate space. It's going to happen on June 7th. Tickets are going on sale today, so go ahead and buy them up. But it's good to see M Resort kind of getting out of their vibe. The last time we were in there, it wasn't very festive.
Yeah, I think this is a big get for them. It's a big name. He definitely was bigger 15 years ago or whatever. It seems like he's more into acting now than he is into music, but I think it's still a big get. Should be a fun atmosphere. I love that it's out by the pool, a little bit more low key, relaxed and everything. It should be a good time.
There's a couple stories on here I know you're going to get giddy or excited to talk about. And this one, the Mr. Beast experience, is coming to Resorts World. I know you must have already booked your tickets. Mark, a big Mr. Beast fan. And you have to stay for 3 nights, but they're going to have different activations all around. You'll get a special gift bag, which is a mystery thing that you get for booking there. The packages were supposed to go on sale, but they hadn't gone on sale as of recording yet, so we don't know how much they are. There'll also be like a $10,000 giveaway for someone randomly staying there. But I guess if you're just a Mr. Beast fanboy or fangirl, this is going to be your way to sort of nerd out for 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, if the prices are in line with what they normally charge and not too much higher, I think it's kind of cool that you get like a merch bag and everything like that, and then a shot at winning 10 grand. I mean, everybody's in Vegas, or most people are in Vegas to gamble a little bit. This is a little bit of like a gamble lottery ticket situation, Willy Wonka-esque. And, it's similar to what Mr. Beast does in his videos, giving away money to people if they're subscribed or just random stuff. And it's always kind of fun. We always talk about Resorts World does everything they can to drum up some interest in the property and keep things unique and different. So this is just another way of them doing that. And I think it's good for them and definitely a big get for them. Mr. Beast is one of the biggest names out there.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to reinvent his Vegas image after everything with the Beast games and all the bad news that came out of Vegas last time. Yeah, the Resorts World has done EDC Hotel. They've done so many of these things now. It feels like a perfect fit for them. So I'm looking forward to see what they do with it.
Yeah, I wish they would have given a price range for these packages. It would have been nice to know. I checked right before the show, like you said, and it wasn't available, even though it's supposed to go live today as of recording. So I don't know what the delay is. It shouldn't seem like it would be that hard, but hopefully the prices aren't like, a couple $100 extra a night or something crazy like that.
And I'll try to throw them up on the screen. Hopefully they'll release them by the time we release the show.
We're hitting all the boxes today.
As a reminder, we have our Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to our weekly after show, plus all of our backlog of after shows as well. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information. And thanks to everybody who supports us over there.
I'm looking forward to arguing with Sean on this one.
So the Museum of Ice Cream is coming to Las Vegas, to Area 15 in 2026. Apparently, there's already 5 of these places around the country, but this will be their flagship location, over 30,000 square feet of space. When you go in, apparently you get unlimited ice cream, but I know the part that I'm looking forward to the most, Mark, is the sprinkle pool.
Yeah, I mean, reminds me of the ball pools. And I just shared, like on my personal page, a DZ Discovery Zone memory popped up or whatever. I'm like, oh, I miss the ball pit days and McDonald's play places and stuff. And this kind of gives you those vibes. It looks something unique. I mean, we've seen it in other things, not ice cream, but we've seen these immersive experience type things. They always seem to be popular. You get ice cream as much as you want, which is pretty cool. And it seems like they have, unique desserts that you can't find anywhere else. I don't know about the whole hotel aspect of it, or maybe they're only going to have a couple rooms and then people that are really into it can do it. But I don't know. Would you sit at the ice cream buffet the whole day?
I don't think I need to do that. You shouldn't mention Discovery Zone because you don't want me singing on the show, but that's one of my favorite jingles from the 90s. Yeah, the hotel room's not a lot of detail on that. It does look really cool. Like you said, it's very Instagrammable, that sort of attraction. It fits really well with Area 15. Plus the ice cream, I'm sure, will be very popular. I mean, this seems like a neat concept. We're seeing all these weird sort of concepts. You mix mini golf with weird adult stuff. You have the play area at Luxor. You have all these adult sort of playground things, and I think this fits right in there.
Foreshadowing. It'll be another place for TikTok to go big, and that's why Vegas is the #1 TikTok spot.
And speaking of TikTok, one of our restaurants here is owned by a huge influencer, right? The guy who got his fame by sprinkling salt on stuff, Salt Bae. His restaurant over at Park MGM apparently closed suddenly. This is according to Vital Vegas. One of my favorite things about the Vital Vegas article is apparently at some point he went around town and he bought gold leaf and started putting it on top of regular food and taking pictures of it, which credit to him for that. That's funny to me. But it closed. This was, I mean, I think all of his other locations are still open. I think he has 5 or 6 around the world. And yeah, it's a beautiful space, beautiful restaurant. So whoever takes it over has a really nice space on their hands.
The only downside is it's kind of hidden and not in the most trafficked area. So I think it'll be a struggle, especially if rent is high, which I'm assuming it is. It's, a newer building and all of that, but you're not going to draw people going in unless they're going for a game or something. They're not walking by there as much. So I think it'll be tough. Whoever gets in there, you have to have really good food or really good service, draw the people in. I mean, they'll go out of their way if you create a buzz.
Yeah, you're right. It's sort of buried back there near the arena. So on non-game days, it is a little bit of a challenging location. But yeah, no more Salt Bae in Vegas. Who would have thought it?
Me.
Well, one other exciting food-related news story is the Bagel Championships are coming back to Siegel's Bagel Mania, one of your favorite spots to eat breakfast in town, and mine too. I really love their food there. And Joey Chestnut's going to be here, all the top competitive eaters. It's happening this Saturday, February 1st at 11 a.m. right in front of the restaurant. I know this was a big popular thing last year, and it's always fun to see how they can do it. So yeah, Joey Chestnut, you a fanboy?
I mean, I'm sad that he's not in Nathan's anymore because they had the falling out of Impossible Meat or whatever he did that upset them and everything. And it just doesn't feel the same on 4th of July without him doing that contest. So it's cool that he landed here and it's good for Vegas, big name. I think there will be people out there that have some fun. It just doesn't feel quite the same.
I wanted to follow up on our story from the last show about this tiny drink at Flamingo. And we did hear from a Caesars bartender that said that it looked like a whiskey on the rocks. That's why the cup was so small, that they do still serve top shelf liquors where they work. And I think there was an important distinction we didn't make on the last show, which we should have. We were talking about Caesars properties in general, but there are higher end Caesars properties and lower end ones. This was Flamingo. Another comment said that the Flamingo bartenders are the worst at making sure you're playing and giving you free drinks. So yeah, Flamingo probably on the lower end, so they probably have stricter drink policies than, say, Caesars Palace, but that's the update on all of that.
I don't know that I'd say higher end and lower end. I'd say like mid and then lower. I don't think they get into the higher end at all.
I mean, Caesars they have really high-end restaurants. They've been renovating the casino, all the new high-limit rooms there, so they really are trying. And as far as Caesars goes in Vegas, I mean, that's as high end as you go.
Yeah,
Caesars
that's their
properties
high
in
end.
Vegas. I need to start saying Caesars Entertainment or something so it doesn't seem like I'm talking about Caesars Palace all the time.
That's their high end, but I don't know that it compares to like MGM's high end or even, like a Fountain Blue or something. It just doesn't feel high end. And then it's so confusing walking through there. It takes away from it. I think the rooms are nicer, especially the updated ones. They're nicer, but I don't know. It's just, if you're picking 5 of the top hotels in Vegas, I don't know that any Caesars property makes that list.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what people out there have to say about, is Caesars Palace high end compared to what we have elsewhere? I tend to agree with you. It's definitely not going in the top tier, but it still has that history and that beauty. So I do love it. But yeah, chime in on that. And here's the story Mark has been foreshadowing, the TikTok obsession. Now, I want to say that how they figured this all out is a little suspect, but it's a fun story to talk about. A company called Socially Powerful used Google Keyword Planner to analyze 30 popular TikTok-related keywords and determine which states are the most TikTok obsessed. Nevada coming in number 1, with New York close behind at number 2. I'll show the top 10, but based anecdotally on the people I know, I'd say this is pretty accurate.
It's interesting that it would rank so high. And, Vegas has to play the most of that role because there are so many unique things in Vegas. And it just lends itself to social media. There's a lot of influencers there, especially compared to like the size when you think of how many people are in New York and how many people are in Vegas or even LA area. And I think it lends itself to being a social media influencer type of hotspot. So I think this makes a lot of sense. I, for one, wish the TikTok ban stayed intact. I hate it, but here we are.
You're trying to bring all the TikTok hate upon us. Don't mess with the TikTokers. They love it. It has changed the world, though, TikTok, and changed the way people consume content, in the way that they view restaurants, in the way that they view travel, talking specifically to Vegas. And, there's some great things with that. There's some bad things with that. A lot of misinformation, people not disclosing advertising, all of that stuff. But the whole world has changed. And I think you're right. Because of the nature of Vegas, the tourism, the spectacle of all of it, it really does lend itself well to TikTok. So that does make sense.
Sean's trying to get me to go off before we do the Patreon.
Well, let's move on to MGM Resorts. They had a couple of big hacks / data breaches. One was in 2019, and then there was the big cyber attack in 2023. They just settled a class action lawsuit, or actually a series of class action lawsuits that they consolidated down into one. and they're going to pay $45 million. So I don't know, if any of us are eligible, but it says you'll get either $75, $50, or $20, depending on how much of your data was stolen. So there you go. If you get a notice, then lucky you.
I forgot to look this up before, but do you remember how much the hackers were asking for?
I think it was in the hundreds of millions of dollars, wasn't it?
Okay. So this was maybe, well, I guess after all the lost business and everything else during that time frame, it might have been cheaper overall to just pay the hackers. I know it sets a bad precedent, but others have done it, will do it. So it's just interesting. I wonder if somebody can calculate, like, this is what it cost them and this is what they could have done and been out of it within a couple hours, if they held their end of the deal and everything. But I'm not surprised that it's a bigger number. And of course, the lawyers take all their stuff up front, so we get left with the scraps.
I didn't see a lot of people talking about this story this week either, which was super interesting. I feel like $45 million is nothing to them, and they're probably just happy to get this over with, get it all settled into one lawsuit and over with in the past, so they don't have to talk about it anymore. Seems like it's a pretty sweet deal for them. $45 million, a lot of money, but again, for all of the bad press that they got, yeah, I think they just want to move on.
Yeah, it makes sense. I would take this deal if I was them, and it's a drop in the bucket for how much money they run on a monthly basis and everything, much less over the year. So it helps them move on.
So the December gaming numbers came in. It's funny because this month the gaming numbers came in before the LVCVA visitor stats. So we don't have both numbers again, but we do have the gaming stats. And then on the next show, we can go into like the year over year stuff and see how 2024 was compared to 2023. But for the December numbers, there was a big sort of drop off, 2.66% for the strip specifically, the drop off. And that's, I believe, the 6th month in a row the strip has been down. But then there was also some really big numbers, like the Boulder Strip being up 29%, downtown up over 8%. So it wasn't really bad all across the board. Statewide, a 2% increase year over year. But the Strip it's a little concerning to see this month after month now.
Yeah, I'd say it was like an F1 effect because people were staying away. They still didn't get everything taken down, early into December. It took a couple weeks into December. So I think we've seen in the comments, a lot of people canceled their trips that they normally do that time of year or moved them to a different month because they didn't want to deal with that hassle. But this is a trend that we've seen for a while. And I mean, it's natural with how high it got. So I'm not too surprised by that. But yeah, I'm sure F1 played a little bit of a role here.
And just remember, we weren't hitting $1 billion statewide consistently before 2020. And these numbers, 1.461 billion. So it's still a giant growth over just a few years ago. And we're maintaining that. So even if you have these soft numbers month to month, it's still very strong compared to the way it was before. And I think that's important to kind of keep in mind. Vegas still very strong when you see this stuff. And let's close with this. One of the most ridiculous rumors that I have ever seen, but it went wide. I think some Facebook groups were spreading this. It was all over Twitter or X, and people seem to actually buy into it, that Disney is going to buy Circus Circus. Now, this is ridiculous for so many reasons. Disney wants nothing to do with the gaming industry. They do have ESPN, which has ESPN Bet, but that's not under the Disney brand. 102 acres is not enough for Disney to do much of anything other than build a hotel. Disney doesn't even have gaming on their cruise ships, Mark. So why would they come here and spend all this money to build a non-gaming hotel where they're paying the land prices for a casino? It makes no sense. This isn't happening. And I'm kind of sad that so many people believe this.
Yeah, we just talked about how, his asking price was so hot, $5 billion, I think. It just wasn't realistic for anybody. And this is a profitable casino, one of the more profitable casinos in Vegas, because the upkeep is low and it does good business for what it is. And he's not going to just let it go for nothing. And who's going to pay $5 billion to knock it down and then build just a hotel without a casino? It just, like you said, doesn't make sense. And these people that are sharing it, there's been thoughts that they were paid to share it to drive business to Circus Circus. I don't know if I believe that, but it just seems like engagement bait, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think you need to pay them to drive engagement in that way. They probably are just doing it. This just seems like somebody's like, oh, Circus Circus is for kids. Disney would be great. Disney's buying Circus Circus. And then it just went wide. There's just nothing to support this. And financially, it wouldn't make any sense. And Disney's not just flushing cash really anyway. They've cut back investments and now they're starting to invest more in their parks and stuff. This is a little bit of an issue that I know something about, but oh my God, Mark, I would bet anything to say that Disney is not going to come anywhere near Las Vegas. The family-friendly era did not work. Maybe if we go to an alternate reality where the 90s had come out a different way and, you know, it started to become a family travel destination, but there's just no reason for them to do this. And yeah, so there's your utterly ridiculous rumor of the week. So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about, the ridiculous Circus Circus rumor, the gaming numbers, TikTok. Are you obsessed with that? The Mr. Beast experience. Are you going to go stay at Resorts World to experience Mr. Beast? Let us know in the comments. We have 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. We'll be back in a couple days with another show. I also did my whole Hawaii recap on our MTM Travel on our other channel on Monday. So if you want to find out all about what I did in Hawaii, how I traveled there on points and miles, paid almost nothing in cash for it, check that out as well. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good weekend, everybody.